Alrighty. So because of the vendor being broken on the PTR right now, I'll have to wait till tomorrow to do the seasonal content, because when I copied my characters over, it deleted my PTR character, and I'm definitely not going to level a whole new character for the PTR. So we're just going to be testing the Eternal Realm basic changes, no seasonal stuff, but the basic changes, which is pretty much everything else aside from the seasonal mechanic, which I'm sure will be a big part of the season, but it is what it is. So we're going to just go ahead and push the pit here with this border build. See how far we can get with this bugged out survival instinct. No, doing some weird stuff with mob density, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. So this is definitely partially a bug with, or a full, just a bug with survival instinct. I replicated this on my landslide build, but not to this degree. Like, look at the crazy damage. It might also possibly be like enemy health. I don't know. Did I just circle back around? I think I did. I don't know why my... Now let's go over here. Make sure we don't miss anything. Just doing tons and tons of damage for no reason. Well, there's a reason, obviously, but... It's kind of unfortunate that you have to unlock the pit all over again. Yeah, that's why I say there's probably some kind of enemy component to it, because as soon as those little eggs dropped, the damage went crazy there. It's like the overpower damage is scaling also off of like how many enemies are around your character at any given time. go ahead and do another 5 tiers. I wonder if you can get to 150. You'd have to get lucky enough to get enemies surrounding you. That's for sure. Like a boss with enemies. I like these new poison boulders. I think there's a possibility to make an off-meta poison build with this in this season. The only problem is this season is so dependent on overpower crits, and season 7 is going to be dependent on overpower crits as well. And you can't really do that with poison damage, so I highly doubt there will be a top tier poison build, but it looks like poison is getting better. I can't really test it though because of the bugs on the PTR and them locking the progression vendor, or whatever you want to call the stupid thing. I think it gives you all the good stuff. I think my son might have turned on low power mode on my phone. I think they should go ahead and make Boulder move to cast as well. Like, if they made Boulder move to cast, now that Hurricanes move to cast, it would feel even better. I think that would be, like, the last thing they need to do for Boulder King. Outside of, like, doing something about suppressor enemies, I still think suppressor enemies are way too powerful. Like, they're way too strong. They just nullify your entire build until you kill them. Yeah, there definitely has to be an enemy component because whenever enemies spawn, it just does way more damage. But this every 6th attack with the new Obsidian Slam Node is actually kind of nice. Yeah, we'll definitely have to get lucky and get some mob spawns on the bosses. I can't really test too many things just because I'm limited by the builds that I have, but I mean, pretty much every Earth build is going to be really good now with the Obsidian Slam change. Much better than they currently are. Give me just a second, guys. All right, now that that's done. It seems like we're getting more ancestral items too, so that's kind of nice. Not like a crazy amount more, but God, that did. I feel like a spiritborn now. I feel like I'm a spiritborn trapped in a druid's husky body. Yeah, there definitely is an element to the amount of enemies around you that's scaling with something in survival instincts. I don't really need these poison boulders, but man, it's convenient. You don't have to have poison creeper anymore. You can just run whatever you want to run. So I can pick up shred or something like that for mobility. It's kind of nice to have the poison boulders, to be honest. Like I said, it's not too bad in terms of poison damage. Like it scales the poison damage into the millions, but you need billions and billions of damage to have a viable build in this meta, where you're at least competitive with some of the other Druid builds. And I just don't know if that's going to be possible. But if it is, I think unless there's a bug, Boulder would probably be the best way to do it. Shred is only like every third hit, so it kind of takes a second for it to scale up in terms of like poison damage. Oh, not this guy again. Come on. And the same stupid chieftain attack. That's okay. At least I still have all the scrolls of escape from the previous season. Oh, there we go. Now we're hitting some random... Got a few 100 billion in there. Man, I love the unrestrained I love the unrestrained passes. With the just having that reduction in impairment time is so nice. I feel like a lot of people look over that this season just because everybody's used to running unstoppable, but it just works so well for keeping you up without worrying about getting chained CC. There we go. Hopefully we get lucky this time. Something with mobs. Something to help pick up that damage. so funny seeing that kind of damage on Druid. Yeah, that move to cast on Hurricane is so smooth. Just makes it so much easier to play a border build. I'm sure like Hurricane builds as well, but I'm not ever gonna play a Hurricane build. Never. Oh, perfect boss. You got mobs, you got everything. Yeah, see, as soon as the mobs are nearby, bro, just starts cranking out damage. It's like it's multiplying the overpower. Something's happening there with Survival Instincts. It's like multiplying the damage with the mobs as well as like the damage from the passive. It's from the legendary node itself. It's something weird. Now I just need to have like an Erida's Inexorable Will or something, so I can pull everything close. Yeah, there it is. I think we can do Erida's over Hunter's Zenith and see what happens. Or Erida's over I would do Erida's over Starless Skies. I think I have an extra Erida's. That's fine. Hopefully we won't have any issue with like resources too bad. Make sure all of our, yeah, we're good. I have a Lightning Storm character. I tried out Lightning Storm a little bit, but it doesn't seem like there's anything like too crazy for Lightning Storm. Now, Lightning Bolts with Lightning Storm, I haven't tried. I have not tried that out yet. You know what I could probably do? Take off the Zenith ring and just run a normal ring. with the Wrath skill. But I've done landslide so far, and really, I can't do anything specific to the PTR just because of the bugs and everything. They disabled the vendor to get the boost on the PTR because it was crashing the game over and over again. And when I decided to replicate my seasonal characters from Season 6 over to Season 7 PTR, it deleted my characters that were in the PTR, and that was after they closed the vendor, so now I don't really have access to those. Is he awake? Of course you're awake, sir. What happened? Chunky oh, now you're smiling at me? Don't close it. Don't close it too much because it gets hot in here. Sorry, my wife came in with my little one. Yeah, but it doesn't look like there's too many changes on the patch notes for anything like Lightning Storm, and unless there's some really cool interactions with the new seasonal mechanic, which I won't be able to know until tomorrow when they fix whatever's causing the crashes. It's probably going to be, generally the same build, and unless you can make a really cool Lightning Bolt build. But it just seems like the best way to do Lightning Bolt in Season 7 is going to be with Cataclysm. It has the most open aspect slots, and a big problem. Yeah, bro, it's bugged. So there's a bug with survival instincts and mob density. So the more mobs you have around your character, it scales the damage for some reason. I just put a video out about it, but I didn't know the survival instincts until I posted it out on Reddit, and some guy said he was having the same issue, but his was with survival instincts. And when I coupled the survival instincts with mob density, it just shoots the damage up super fast with Boulder. And I replicated the same thing on Landslide to a smaller degree, because obviously Boulder hits much harder than Landslide does because of the Dolmen Stone Amulet. Unfortunately, though, I'm on hardcore with this character. So, that does make it a bit of a problem, but hopefully we won't die. I have plenty of Scrolls of Escape. But yeah, it seems like it's just going to be a Cataclysm meta, man. Like, a lot of things are going to be way better, but Cataclysm is just going to be so much better than everything else, unfortunately. I probably myself won't play a lot of Cataclysm because I'm not a big fan of the build. But, there'll be other builds that work way better as well. Unless there's some bug that, sneaks through that we don't know about, or some kind of crazy, something crazy that pops up. But just on its face, like looking at the meta and what the patch notes said, it looks like Cataclysm is going to be a monster. Like, just a straight up monster for Season 7. Might even be an actual S tier build in the overall meta. Which is at least something for Druid, right? Not the funnest build to play, but it's, it's okay. We'll see what happens with the lightning bolts, though. Maybe the lightning bolt addition to the build will make it more fun to look at. It's still not going to be as much fun to play as something like Lightning Storm or Boulder Cane or Landslide, but it'll at least be something cool to look at if you have a bunch of additional lightning bolts striking around your character, something just to give you, a little bit of excitement. But like I said, barring anything with like the witch skills or significant buffs after the PTR, which I will be, kind of asking for certain things to be buffed, I suspect Cataclysm is going to be crazy. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Cataclysm, though. I don't like it just seems so, it's just boring. Like, you just stack up all your buffs, then you snapshot Overpower crit into Cataclysm, and you just do that over and over and over and over, and your character's just kind of, I don't know, I don't like it. It's not my cup of tea. I'll probably make the build because it'll probably be the best build, but outside of that, I probably wouldn't play it that much. I much more prefer stuff like Shred or Boulder Cane. But yeah, pop Cata, walk around. Pop Cata, walk around. That's it. Snapshot your Overpower crit into Cataclysm. It's the best build so far this season in Season 6. It's the highest pit clear we currently have on the Druid at 116. So, and it's getting massive buffs because Season 7 is like the ultimate season where they're giving you more ultimate skill ranks as well as a ton of different, you know, additions to your ultimates when they're at rank 5. So, lots of new aspects for your ultimates as well. And then there's some changes they've made to like Ancestral Guidance as well as no, I think it's just Ancestral Guidance, where your willpower actually scales the damage of your ultimates, like, to an insane degree. It's like, ridiculous. So, it's going to be, unless things change after the PTR, it's going to be a pretty strong meta for Cataclysm. Even Lacerate. Even Lacerate is looking pretty good. Because you can overpower crit Lacerate as well. And that's going to make a Lacerate build probably more fun than Cataclysm builds. Just because they're cooler looking. Maybe not as powerful as Cataclysm builds, but we got to test that out. I'll test that out tomorrow, though. I don't have a Lacerate build set up from my seasonal characters on Season 6. Yeah, if they just made that small change to Boulder, move to cast like they have Hurricane and everything now, Boulder builds would feel so good. Just being able to move around while you're casting your Boulder. Oh, Blood Bishop, this ain't good. I might not be able to... Well, no, he spawns the orbs, so... Hopefully we'll get some decent hits. Oh, I forgot to use my Hurricane. Yeah, see, there we go. And he's dead. It's so crazy. As soon as those orbs spawn, and it's something with, like, it's definitely something with the interaction between survival instincts and then multiple enemies around your character that just causes you to do, like, insane amounts of, I guess, overpower damage or something that's going on there. Maybe it's like calculating the combined health of everything around you or something. I don't know. It's super weird. I'm sure it's I'm sure it has to do with something. Maybe the multiple hits, like every hit you deal, maybe stacks the damage or something. I'm gonna swap this ring. I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. Swap that. I don't really need the Hunter's Zenith ring. Or at least I don't think I do. What do I have on my staff? Based on Fortify. And then we'll just turn this to Changeling's Debt. Oh, it's already Changeling's Debt. Okay. Let's see if we have the same results with this, because this will be a little bit easier to play. Then we don't have to worry about resources. Make sure all my stats are good, yeah. -9 something. I think that's the damage cap, though. That has to be the damage cap because all the numbers are the same. I don't even have to shapeshift now. I can just kind of chill. Yeah, I think I'm getting more procs now than I was. Kevin. Oh man, that's hilarious. Come on, spawn your little bugs. Spawn more bugs. There it is. There's the trillions of damage. Spawn more bugs. Maybe like maybe once or twice more with the bugs and he'll die. There it is. 135. Such an accomplishment. All right. On to the next one. We're close. We only got like 10 more tiers after this. I just need to keep getting bosses with mobs. I'll have to pour it out with any bosses that don't have mobs. You think they would have found this bug? That'd have been funny if they had never found this bug. That would have been glorious because you know what would happen like a week in? No one would know about it. Then we could just make the argument, well, everybody's made their builds around survival instincts, so you can't really nerf it. Such a bad idea to do stuff like that. It's nice, you know, while I'm doing this, I'm also looking at the survivability as well, because they did nerf heightened senses by 50%, and it's nice to see that even with that big nerf to heightened senses, that Druid is still incredibly tanky in werebear form at least. I was having some issues with my lightning storm setup earlier when I was off stream, but werebear still feels really tanky. I don't think I could stand in all the damage like I do in Season 6 currently, but if you play decently smart, you're not, you know, getting yourself hung up in a bunch of damage pools and stuff like that, and avoiding boss mechanics, should be perfectly fine. Let's see what we got here. I think I'll have to leave. Scourge doesn't have any mobs. And I don't think I could even come close to killing him. Oh. Spiritborn bear, basically. This one's not quite, I mean, this one's not quite as good because you still have to depend on bosses having ads, but the bug is there, man. The bug is there to give us a damage cap, actually. That's the damage cap. I think that's the new damage cap. Some kind of negative 19-digit number. It's like some kind of weird bug with survival instincts and enemy density. Like whatever, there's like 3 or more enemies around your character, it starts scaling the damage to like insane amounts of damage. Anywhere from, you know, trillions, like hundreds of trillions, thousands of trillions, to whatever that hot mess of a number is. And there really isn't anything, you know, other than that little change that they did. I can't imagine, like, what did they do? How did they, how does that even happen? I'm sure it's something that could be explained. Man, it makes me kind of excited to test out what other stuff it could, you know... I want to test out some of the powers, some of the new seasonal mechanic powers, but I have to wait till tomorrow. I'd definitely love to see what we could do with some witch powers. Unfortunately, though, it will be kind of hard to test any werebear builds because of survival instincts. You'll have to kind of leave that off of your build just to test it to see if the damage is... going to be decent, because if you have this on your build, it's just going to make it where you get you know, crazy ass damage numbers that aren't going to be replicatable in season 7. I don't think Mother's Judgment has, no, I think she has some ads. I think you have to clear past a certain HP point, though. I think you have to get her past 75% before she starts spawning ads. I might end up teleporting out of this one too. I need a boss that just spawns ads immediately. Something like Blood Bishop with the blood boils, or probably even anything that spawns Bone Lord as a fight mechanic. Yeah, because there's no way I'm going to be able to do this one. Anything that has an HP bar seems to trigger whatever the bug is. Let me make sure I have a bunch of these scrolls. I know I have quite a few. Yeah, we'll just keep these 6 on me. That way I don't lose track of my scrolls and get stuck in a boss fight. So we need the Space Cockroach, Blood Bishop, something that spawns Bone Lord, the Wolf boss doesn't spawn. What in the world? You little gremlin. Oh boy said, ay, ay, ay. I can't, it's so dark in here. Little gremlin. I know, he was acting like I was some kind of stranger. He wanted his mommy. So crazy. I wish your companion counted. Like, I wish they would count as towards this damage. Throw a bunch of companions on there. Maybe that'll be the bug that gets through. Alright. Cross your fingers. Hopefully we got something. No, it's the wolf. When did I put the Zenith ring back on? What's up, chunky monster? I don't remember putting the Zenith ring back on. Maybe I did. Maybe I did by accident. I think Den Mother does have to. Yeah, see, pretty tanky. You don't have to worry about boss mechanics. If we can just get a couple lucky bosses, this will be done in no time. I could probably swap this around to the normal boulder, just so I have the extra 20% critical strike, and then use Poison Creeper for poisoning. I don't know, this just feels kind of convenient. I like it. I imagine there's probably a Cataclysm build out there that's already cleared 150. Had to. That thing's probably cranking out the damage. I have the makings of a Cataclysm build that I'll, you know what, that's what I'll probably try next after I finish this. I have the, it's another hardcore character though, unfortunately. So I have to be a little bit more careful. Come on, Blood Bishop or Space Cockroach? Or the, oh, not the Den Mother again, dude. Come on. Yeah. Let me look at the Cataclysm real quick. Now that I actually have the, aspect for it. That way I'm not just trying to do that the entire time. Because I actually do want to see how well this actually works. Alright. Okay. Let's do that. I don't even know if this is going to be worth it. I mean, 8 seconds? You'd have to cast your ultimate every 8 seconds. I think my Paragon board is set correctly. Yeah, there. Survival instinct. Okay, let's do some real quick testing in the training dummy real fast. So I don't have armor and resistances capped on this character. I'd have to wait till tomorrow to get those. See how many ranks. You have 14. you have to kind of wait till everything runs down in order to do this. There we go. And then you can just kind of like chain cast it over and over again. Because it's bugged. Like everything is bugged on Cataclysm. Look at that. Already. Oh yeah. Jesus. Yeah, it's just stacking the damage on Cataclysm. There it is. Yeah, so Cataclysm is probably even more broken with this silly bug. Just because you don't need it, it just stacks repeatedly with Cataclysm instead of depending on multiple enemies. Alright, let's see what happens when we go into the pit. I have to actually gotta get armor. Armor and resistances. Missing cold, poison, fire. So with the so far Survival Instincts has the issue. Survival Instincts with Boulder seems to proc the damage with multiple enemies surrounding your character. Survival Instincts with Cataclysm just seems to stack the damage over and over again with Cataclysm. I'm not sure why there's a difference between those two, but there is. Like, maybe it's like the multiple hits. I'm not sure. It's weird. It's a weird interaction. Let me break some of these items that have masterwork materials. I need resistance and armor. There we go. Perfect. Oh, what? Oh, man, I would never get that. Well, I've gotten lucky. Now let's hope I just don't die. That's the key. All right, we're good on resistances. Now we just have to do this stupid-ass snapshot crit nonsense. I hate doing this. It's like timing the snapshot crit is so annoying. You have to wait till your Cataclysm is down, and then you have to hit the snapshot crit. Overpower. And that's the part that can get you killed. It's like waiting. I put a video out on my border cane already, Droid. And I added it to the comment. I have to wait. No, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to do it. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to do it on that character. I have some softcore characters. This is a Lightning Storm character. Give me just a second. Okay. Back to the boulder. Yeah, I would never play. I don't like the way Cataclysm, you have to like do this overpower crit. It feels so weird. And the fact that there's a bug where the overpower crit persists after you, once you snapshot the overpower crit into your Cataclysm, it persists even after you've refreshed Cataclysm over and over again, which is clearly not supposed to happen. But it does make the build much more player friendly. I don't know. I don't know why they doubled down on the Cataclysm stuff on the snapshot overpower crits, because to me that is like the least fun way to play the Druid. I don't even think it should have ever been a thing. But most people won't care as long as it does damage. I mean, I feel like it's playing. I feel like it's like playing Wind Shear. You know, it's just not fun. It does damage, sure. It's really cool to do damage, but at the end of the day, the play style is just really, really boring, and it doesn't really get you excited to try out the build. I much prefer things like Lightning Storm, Boulder King. Just feels better to play. Just feels like you're actually doing something with your character than just standing there watching your Cataclysm kill everything, or shooting giant poison darts at enemies that, you know, too single target focused. I could probably copy that character back over, but I am afraid it would like delete all of my other characters. Alright, hopefully we get something with enemies. Blood Bishop. Den Mother. We need Blood Bishop or Space Cockroach. I don't think there's any other enemies that spawn stuff without needing to be, well, and the Sea Hag. Drowned Sea Hag. I think she spawns enemies without needing to be past like an HP threshold. We don't need the Den Mother again. For some reason we just keep getting the Den Mother. It's like the third Den Mother in a row. You see the poison stacks, though? Look at the poison stacks. So this is without building out poison on this setup. And you can see the poison stacks get over 1 million. Like, you can get well over 1 million damage without even doing much building into poison damage with Boulder. And I think it's going to be a great off-meta build, but unfortunately, the Snapshot Overpower crit is the way to go, and poison can't really do that. But if we didn't have that meta, then poison might actually be useful. It's kind of unfortunate because I think they did a good job adding in more stuff to increase your poison damage. Poison temperings, different, you know, straight damage passives for poison. Like with Boulder, you just deal a percentage of your damage as poison. Gotta go all the way back. Yeah, that nerf to height instances definitely hurts some builds. It's definitely going to be painful for anything that doesn't have werebear consistently. It's like anything werewolf that usually relies on like nothing but height and census stacks to give you that extra DR that you need to survive and high tier stuff. Come on. Bramble. Can't remember if Bramble spawns any enemies early. I think they spawn snakes, but I don't know when. The damage does seem to stack up when you just leave the borders go, but just ramps up so much faster without with enemies around. Yeah, see, like every hit is going up and up and up. There we go, like 500 billion. There's a trillion. So maybe the reason why it does this with enemies is it's based off of the hit. So every time it hits something, it stacks the damage. Maybe that's why more enemies makes it do more damage. Oh, there we go. See? There it is. There it is. So that's what it is. Every time it hits something, the damage increases. Look at it. Look, see? Okay. So every time an initial hit, what am I saying? Every single time it hits, it increases the damage. So if you have more enemies, it hits more times, and then the damage just skyrockets. But it's just hitting repeatedly on the same target, or every time it hits, it just increases the damage. That's kind of what it is. That's what it is. That's interesting. I'm just sending a message real quick. That's crazy. What an interesting bug. That's crazy. All right, I'm just trying to make sure I can get this getting this kind of like figured out. Send it to people who might be able to get a better more traction to get it fixed. Even though I think it's going to get fixed regardless. I don't think it's going to this is too obvious. Like slap on survival instincts and you're doing, you know, infinite amounts of damage. All right, let's see if we can hit the get lucky on the 145. The only way the Druid does the only way the Druid is going to ever do 150 is on the PTR, that's for sure. I love how the overpower number is exactly like the regular, like the crit overpower number. It doesn't even require a crit to hit that high damage. That's fun. Yeah, it's just, I think it's just survival instincts in general. It's not even like the overpower version of it. Ultimate builds, Kettle. Ultimate builds seem to be the best builds going into Season 7. Ultimate builds, a lot of builds feel a lot better. Earth builds feel a lot better. Border Cane feels a lot better. There's some nice quality of life changes there. But Cataclysm, Lacerate, unfortunately, here's the thing, brother. There's a lot of builds to play that are a lot of fun. But it seems like the best builds that are going to be in Season 7 are not really going to be that much fun to play. They're going to be more of a chore, because you're going to have to snapshot overpower crits as it currently stands, unless they change anything. You're going to have to snapshot overpower crits into your abilities all the time. So like if you're running Cataclysm, you're going to have to snapshot overpower crits into Cataclysm. Same thing with Lacerate, you're going to be trying to snapshot overpower crit. Same thing with Hurricane. So it's going to feel much more, I think it's going to end up feeling much more of a chore, and people are not going to be happy. I could be wrong, though. I could be completely wrong. Maybe people like the build. I'm a little biased. I don't like the build. But, I don't want to ruin everybody's fun. You know, people like big numbers, and I'm certain you're going to see some pretty big damage numbers coming out of Cataclysm. But for me, the playstyle is just not fun. It's not fun. It just feels like a chore, because you're constantly looking down at your UI bar, making sure you got everything set up correct, got all your buffs up, got your rune word buffs up, and then you cast Cataclysm, or you cast some other ultimate ability or something like your Hurricane. And then you just sit there and watch it do damage. And then you do it all over again. Over and over and over and over. And it just doesn't feel as fun. It takes a little while to get used to it. It's like there's a big learning curve, pretty steep learning curve for it. And honestly, it's just like, I would much rather play something that does less damage and is more fun to play, like Lightning Storm or Shred or Boulder Cane, things like that. I think Malice has some... Oh, that was my fault for dropping it. Yeah, there it is. So it's just like multiple hits in a row, and then bang, you end up dealing that crazy damage. All right, 150. Boulder is bugged. Boulder, well, not Boulder. Survival Instincts Legendary Node is bugged. It's bugged out for some reason. The damage is like stacking like crazy, causing anything that uses Survival Instincts to deal insane amounts of damage, like getting to damage cap. You can see the number on the screen. It's like some 19-digit damage number in a negative, bro. It's crazy. I don't even want to go through the amount of I made a video on it, but I figured out a few things with a guy on Reddit who also was experiencing the bug and had a different perspective from from using Cataclysm. And I figured it out through that, so all the way. It seems like what's going on is Survival Instincts is stacking every hit. Every time you hit something, it stacks the damage of that hit over and over again. So if you're playing something like Boulder, where you're hitting a bunch of times, well, multiple enemies a bunch of times, it stacks rapidly, so you get this crazy 19-digit negative damage number. But on bosses, you have to get bosses with adds in order to get that same effect. Now, if you're playing something like Cataclysm, which also uses the Survival Instincts node, because it hits the same target rapidly, you can stack up the damage much faster on a single target. So you could do the same thing with Cataclysm with is anything that uses Survival Instincts that hits multiple times. Now, I don't think you can't do it with Landslide, because Landslide runs out. It has to be the same hit, like the same boulder, the same ability. You can get it to a lesser degree on Landslide, but I don't think you could get the 19-digit number. It has to be something that hits multiple times, I think, without refreshing the cast. I would one-shot the boss if I was using Cataclysm. I'd probably one-shot the boss or hit it a couple times, and then the bug would, add up to one-shotting the boss. But this way you have to have adds. So you'll see like it starts to build up when I let it go. Every hit. And then when there are adds around, it just stacks up really fast. You see it start to really stack up. Into the trillions. I gotta be careful. There it is. $150. That's hilarious. Oh, man. I feel like a Spiritborn now. I'm a Spiritborn. Well, not as good as a Spiritborn. Still not as good as a Spiritborn. Because the Spiritborn could have done it faster. Isn't that funny? Even with this crazy-ass bug that gives us some random high damage number, it's still not as good as a Spiritborn. Because they could have done it faster. That's so funny. Could you imagine if they didn't catch that bug and it stayed in the game the entire season because of how they're like approaching fixing bugs? Like, hey, wait a second. We all built our builds around Survival Instincts. You can't nerf it now. Alrighty. Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, we'll look into some other stuff. So I have a few softcore characters. Now, unfortunately, I expected them. What they usually do is they snapshot your characters into the PTR from like weeks beforehand. And this time we have, they made it where you can snapshot your characters with this little tab here, which pulls your characters right over. Honestly, it's a nice change, but I deleted a lot of my characters because I just didn't want to have all the clutter, and I didn't plan on playing all of those builds. So have a lightning storm build here we can try out, and then I have where's the and then I have shred set up here. So we'll just go ahead and play some lightning storm. I wonder if I can do some cool lightning bolt stuff. I don't think I have the temperings for... Oh, wait. Okay, I do have lightning bolt tempering. No, yeah, lightning bolt. There we go. I just don't have items. That's the sad part. And the vendor is still jacked up. I can check the vendor just in case they snuck in a fix while I wasn't looking. I highly doubt it, though. It's really unfortunate they put all of your snapshot characters... Yeah, no, it's still... All of your snapshot characters onto the Eternal Realm. And like I said, I don't want to make a new character to test out the seasonal stuff. I don't feel like... if I can boost it, yeah, but I'm not doing it without that. So we'll do some lightning bolt stuff here. We'll see what we can get into. See. So you're gonna need... Oh, let's look at Ancestral Guidance too, because that's pretty crazy. So that's the big part about this coming up season. Your ultimate skills deal a multiplicative damage based off of per spirit when cast. So the more spirit you have with your Ancestral Guidance node, the more damage you're going to do with your ultimates. And then there is the willpower. I just wonder how that scales. Let me see how that scales up. Let me go to the training dummy real quick. Doesn't show any number yet. Let me see if this affects it. Where's you show damage numbers. We're hitting a couple million. it seems about the same. Maybe it's not working right now. So you're gonna have to use the overload boon from now on. Like, that's the big change. You have to use the overload boon to deal poison damage to enemies. And then you'll be able to proc your envenom. Without it, you won't be able to do it, because they changed Toxic Claws. Toxic Claws now just applies to Shred and Lacerate. Maybe I could try out. No, I mean, I'd rather have the items. It's kind of pointless to try something out without the items. I want to kind of look into Runeworker's Conduit real quick. A 625% multiplicative damage bonus with your willpower. I think this is a good way to make sure, like, Stormclaw builds work, right? Because Stormclaw builds suck at scaling. Stormclaw builds suck at scaling damage with your basic skills, but maybe we could do something with lightning bolts, where you can use Stormclaw and generate some way of generating a lot of lightning bolts through Stormclaw and swapping between Stormclaw and swapping between Stormclaw and Maw. You just kind of swap it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, it's definitely dealing damage. I mean, you see the damage buff that my Cataclysm gets. Look at the Cataclysm damage buff. It went from hitting barely anything in terms of millions to now hitting hundreds of millions. So let's go ahead and do some more lightning bolt. Now, is this multiplier being affected by? That's what I wonder. Let me put it on my two-hander, see what happens. It doesn't seem like the aspect itself is being affected at all by whatever weapon you put it on. Let me see. Yeah, no, everything is exactly the same. You put it on a staff, it stays at 2,500. You put it on a amulet, it stays at 2,500. So that's clearly a bug. It's not scaling anything. It looks like the damage is supposed to scale, so maybe I'll just go ahead and... What is it? Runeworker's Conduit. And then here we'll go with aspect of electrified claws. And then maybe we'll slap on a pair of gloves. Do I have a pair of gloves? And then throw more damage into ultimates or something like that. Or do we have more lightning bolts somewhere? It would be nice to know if overcharge, like they should highlight that here, like if it's a lightning bolt or not. I can't remember if it counts as a lightning bolt for 8 seconds. And then with the gloves, we can put on some lightning bolt damage. There we go. And then who cares, right? We'll just do some worldly fortitude. Immobilize, that's fine. I don't think the boosts are working now yet, brother. Let me see. No, the boosts aren't working. I think it's tomorrow. I think tomorrow the boosts will work. That's what, if I remember correctly, that's what Adam Fletcher posted. Which is kind of sucky because then it gives us like 2 days to test everything out. Let's do some overpower damage, I think, or some critical strike chance. My son sounds insane right now. I don't know what my wife is doing to him, but he sounds like he's turned into a monster. This also keeps happening, like random infernal hordes compasses keep popping up in the middle of nowhere. Alright, so we got lightning bolt damage. We got... What do we have? We got lightning bolt damage here. This is supposed to scale. So once this scales, I think it'll be much more valuable. The damage scaling on this, I think it'll be really good. And then we have our Rune Worker's Conduit here. No. We have the new one, the Electrified Claws. And then maybe I can... If I want, I can take one of these boards off and make it... like Heightened Malice. I can put on the Survival Instincts node and do the snap and do the Cataclysm bug with that. We'll see if it works out though. I just kind of want to test the damage without it. So let's get everything buffed up real quick. Let's take off Heightened Malice. This is actually a really good change too. The extra damage just to poisoned enemies. I want to see if the Survival Instincts bug happens without an Overpower too. That'd be nice to know. Is it only the overpower damage that's scaling? It probably is only the overpower damage, because that's the only part of the change that would be kind of weird, because that's the scaling part that between enemy's life and your life. That I could see where maybe they messed up with the coding or something. I wish you could just clear a whole board. Alright, let's go ahead and see what happens when we just add survival instincts in. No overpowers. Well, it's going to overpower because of provocation. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, it doesn't seem to be really doing much without an overpower. Let's see. 20 seconds, so we need 2 more seconds. Oh yeah, it's just the overpower. Seems like it's just the overpower. So just the overpower portion of the survival instincts node is bugged. I didn't post any PTR builds because I feel like the changes, what I was gonna do is I was just gonna make the builds on the PTR and then just post them to YouTube. But really there isn't much I can do until everything's fixed. The vendor's unlocked, and then I can actually get my hands on the seasonal content, because what happened is when you snapshot your characters over to the PTR, it puts them into the Eternal Realm. So I can't even access the seasonal content to test that out. So I have to wait till the vendor unlocks. So because I'm not going to level up a whole new character, and I'm only going to be doing the PTR until PoE 2 releases. Because I'd much rather play the early access of that than a PTR. So it's kind of unfortunate because, you know, it limits the amount of stuff I can actually do. Alright. Well, that's interesting to know. So we got that figured out. So survival instincts bugged the overpower portion. The overpower portion stacks damage until you're basically at cap really fast with Boulder. With multiple targets, really fast with Cataclysm on a single target. Has to be a skill that doesn't need to be recast to deal damage. Make sure I'm capped out everywhere. Okay. And then I'll just throw this somewhere else. So let's see what we can do without any bugs. Let's see what the lightning bolt, because even if this lightning bolt, even if Cataclysm is the best build of the season for season 7, which I hope it's not, but even if it is, maybe we can use some of this lightning bolt nonsense to make other builds better. Let's see if we can do a tier 100 with the lightning bolt. I think the lightning bolt is actually dealing more damage than anything else. Hey, see how it's like, yeah, it's hitting a bill with all the buffs up. Now we just need, hold on, let me die real quick. Now we just need something to pull everything to us. I posted out a video, Clyde, though. I did post the boulder bug video, but it's more than boulder, it's just survival instincts. You can use just about any build. I just have to get my hands on everything else. What's I gonna do? Oh yeah, rune word. Let me put the Spiritborn Vortex. Uh-oh. I think it crashed. Yeah, I think it crashed. Let me check X real quick and see if anything's been put out. Yeah, it just says for the next 24 hours. All right, let me leave the game real quick. Come back in. Oh, come on now. All right. Back in we go. That and there we go. So it'll take forever for our ultimate to cool down, but we still have but we still have a decent amount of uptime on it. I wish they didn't change toxic claws, man. That was such a bad idea. I might post that. I might put that down. It's like not changing toxic claws would have been a much better idea if they had left it like it was. Yeah, I don't think this would be a good idea. We'll just stick with a plain old lightning storm setup. There really hasn't been anything that changed with lightning storm, so it's a pretty decent build this season. I think the highest clear right now is 114, and I suspect it'll be a decent enough build next season. But probably won't be as good as it is in the meta this season. I'm surprised they didn't do anything with Lightning Dancer aspect. It's pretty useless. Wait, no. Unsatiated. This is the only thing that really changed. But it's not really much of a change. It's not like they added a bunch of damage to it. The only thing that would make it better is if they changed the Changeling's debt to work with werewolf skills the same way it does with werebear skills. Instead of requiring you to crowd control enemies, you just deal the damage when they're poisoned. Yeah, Shred's going to be better. Shred's going to be... It's still good this season. Shred is still good this season. The highest pick clear with Shred is 114. That's right up there with every other build, you know, currently. So Shred is going to be better next season, but it won't be the best. I don't believe it will be the best, at least. Shouldn't be the best unless there's something weird going on with the way they changed Blurred Beast. I'll show you Shred real quick. Let me get out of this. I kind of get... I need to work on this gear. I need more tankiness. That's going to be the only thing with Lightning Storm that's going to be annoying is the big nerf to height and senses. Because Lightning Storm kind of needed that extra damage reduction you get on the boots with height and senses. Now they're nerfing it by 50%, so... Builds without a bunch of stacks of height and senses typically feel pretty weak in terms of damage reduction. Almost unplayable sometimes. Alright, so we have the Stormclaw here. We have our Blurred Beast now on our gloves. So... And then we're just doing Overpower just because, again, it's an Overpower meta. You basically have to do Overpower the whole time. It's like Overpower or nothing. I think I can do a tier 100. Well, it'll be dependent on like how lucky I get on the boss. It's another one of those builds that really depends on having mobs on the boss. Now, they might have bug fixed Agi Beast. So if they bug fix that, then it might be not so good. And I don't have the best gear on this either, so. Yeah, you see, you kind of have to depend on big stacks of enemies to get your damage out. If you don't have a lot of enemies, you're not going to get as much damage. We're getting some pretty decent hits, though, for the gear that I have on. I don't have, like, a GA to shred on my gloves and all that good stuff. You see how bad this single target is? That's the only issue. It's like when you have one enemy, it's super annoying. But pretty tanky. We're not doing too bad. I feel like there's something I'm missing, though. I feel like there's a tech, like, I don't know if there's, like, a bug or something that causes your Stormclaw to hit, like, over and over and over and over again. Taking forever. course it wouldn't pull the one guy needed to pull. Okay, you see, it's pretty slow rolling. You like to Fist of Fate? I don't have a good pair of Fist of Fate. I got rid of all my Fist of Fate. But I wasn't gonna really push with Shred anyway. I almost wonder if it would be better to do this without Eridas, just because of all the high multipliers that you can get with Shred now. I mean, a big multiplier with Retaliation, Blurred Beasts. I feel like the only thing that's you kind of have to have right now is the Zenith Ring and the Ring of Starless Skies. But it's nice having the pull from the Eridas. Hello. Oh, let me check and see if that'll work better. I don't think I have a better ring in my chest. Might have got rid of it.
At your fingertips. How may I help you? May your road be filled with wonders.
Let's do... I think I have enough critical strike damage. Not critical strike damage, but critical strike chance. 63. And then 13. And then all the predatory instinct. Yeah, that should be plenty. Max life, willpower, overpower damage. Just swap overpower damage to attack speed. Probably go overpower damage. And then we'll just do Petrify cooldown, I think.
Greetings. How shall I guide my hammer?
I think it was a ruby that I need. Yeah, a ruby. Sure, everything's good. Yeah, we're good. Oh, gotta swap out my rune word. Max life.
Stars guide you.
See if this feels any better. Probably not, just because of how much damage you get from pulling everything so close together with Stormclaw, but... we'll see. Oh, did more. Definitely hitting them a lot harder. Honestly, if this wasn't such an overpower crit meta and not having to use like Banished Lords or something like that, you might actually be able to get away with not using Banished Lords. It just kind of sucks needing overpowers all the time. No. There we go. Of course this guy has to run over here and ruin it. So the Petrify works to reset all of your abilities, but the only Petrify that works is the one you directly cast. I tested that out. So the only Petrify that does work to reset everything is the one that you actually cast. I'll show you real quick. I think my Petrify is at rank 5. I don't know. Yeah, so my Petrify is at rank 5. Right, and I cast it. It resets my debilitating roar and my bloodhound, anything that's on cooldown. But you'll see that if I use the Petrify off of my Rune Word, it doesn't reset it. So you have to directly cast it in order for you to get the reset. Most likely that's how it's intended to work. That's kind of it's unfortunate though, because I think it would be really cool if it worked with the Rune Word, and I don't think it would be overpowered at all. See, Shred's still pretty tanky. Like, you can get some pretty decent tank going on with your Shred, and so it's a lot more. It's definitely a much better place than what it was in season 5. Like, it's definitely way better. It still probably could use some more, you know, some more work. Granted, I'm not able to test everything, so maybe my opinion might change when I test everything, but it might be really, really good, and you know, but it definitely got a pretty hefty damage buff with Blurred Beast, I can say that. I don't think some of the overall changes really helped it, like it would be, I think it would be interesting though if instead of every single individual hit of Shred counting as a single hit with your Banished Lords and stuff like that, if your Shred counted like one set of attacks counted as one hit, so that way when you did overpower with your Shred, all 4 of your Shred attacks would overpower too. That would really help the damage out a lot. Well, but what ends up happening is it's just like a gamble. You're basically just casting Shred all the time, hoping that your 3rd or 4th hit is the one that overpowers. And it would be nice if they didn't have it like that, because it makes the damage just go all over the place. You're not really sure what you're going to get out of it. Like, sometimes you'll have massive hits, other times you'll have really poor, like, low hits. Don't really do anything. We also need some kind of like built-in pool, like Cyclone should be a pool, or something needs to be a pool, because depending all the time on like Erida's or the Kree Rune to get the Vortex is kind of annoying, when you could use something that gives you just a little bit more damage in terms of like the Rune Words. But yeah, it would be nice to have like Cyclone be a pull instead of a push, or maybe have a passive that allows you to pull enemies instead of push enemies. Because I like to be able to run like maybe 20% more HP to get bigger overpowers or something like that. I'm honestly, or just not have an overpower crit meta be the meta every season, because it really limits what you can use, what you can and can't use, especially if they keep buffing up overpower, because it makes builds that use channeling skills like Lightning Storm and Stone Burst completely useless because they can't overpower. Now, Lightning Storm isn't useless this season. It's actually really good, but that's because they've buffed it like crazy. It's had so many buffs. It's been buffed like 3 or 4 times, and pretty substantially when they do buff it. So, plus the aesthetic wraps add another, you know, pretty much made the skill perfect. So they would basically have to do the same thing to Stone Burst, which I just don't think that's a good idea. You're buffing something to the point where it matches overpower crit damage without needing to overpower crit. Because then it just makes that build the best build, because it's easier to do. You don't have to worry about the overpowers. You just deal crit damage. So you're just running around spam casting Lightning Storm or spam casting Stone Burst, and then that would be the best setup. You have to find like some kind of happy median where you're not so reliant on overpowered crits, but you don't need to buff something astronomically to make it, you know, viable in an overpowered crit damage meta. It'd be nice if this worked better than just the dash. Like the Blurred Beast part where you do like multiple hits from your dash. It'd be kind of nice if it worked without requiring you to dash. Maybe like every, I don't know, every 4 or 5 hits with Shred, 6 hits with Shred makes you do an automatic dash so you get the extra hits, because then it would be kind of cool. Because the initial dash is really cool. Like, you just hit this crazy amount of hits suddenly. But, it definitely doesn't play well. I probably couldn't clear the boss with this much time. 4 minutes. I wouldn't even come close. Let me just get to the boss. But there is a guy who's cleared 114 this season with Shred. I'll pull up the video real quick. I'll pull up the pit leaderboards. Where's his 113 with Shred. I believe this is the correct one. Perdition, yeah. Oh, okay, so he's using he's also using the Lucky Hit, Tybalt's Will. Same thing, yeah. So Tybalt's Will and Fist of Fate. And that's gotten to 113. So it's definitely good, and it's going to be better next season. So you can imagine like the damage will be pushed up. I think this was 111 before, so 113 now. Imagine it probably get a couple more pit tiers with that setup. But I don't have a pair of Fist of Fate, I don't think. I think I deleted I deleted everything. I don't know if I would use Tybalt's. I don't think I have the other gear pieces to make up for the loss of stats. Oh, he's not using a Zenith ring either. That's interesting. Guess because of Banished Lords. So that way you're not swapping out a werewolf so much. And then I have, what, Landslide? Landslide's the only other bill I have, but because of the survival instincts node, it's going to be kind of janky. Not as bad though, because landslide kind of disappears. You get one cast and that's it. So you don't really get the bug too much out of landslide. But nothing really changed with landslide, so. Still going to have spirit issues when you're in a party. Still going to be exactly the same, but just a little better because of Obsidian Slam. Every 6 cast attack will cast your or make you overpower. Let me go to multiple dummies. Yeah, not too bad. I mean, it'll be better the next season. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna hop off of here. It's midnight, so I'm gonna hop off of here and get some rest, and then get up early in the morning, and hopefully they'll have everything fixed, and I'll be able to test more stuff tomorrow. But that's gonna be it. I'll probably post like the 150 pit clear with the boulder and a better explanation on the bugs, on the bug with survival instinct. But as always, guys, hope you're having a good day, a great day or a great night, depending on wherever you're from. And peace out, guys. I will see you tomorrow.